Leasehold tenure is just one problem for our housing market. The other is build quality. Bodge the builder is everywhere, even Australia.
So we went through a pretty grim period in about the about 2010 to 2020, where defects were commonplace because of a lack of regulatory oversight.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with tenure. It had everything to do with the supervision of builders and self-certification. So, you know, when you give a developer the right to pick the person that's going to approve their work, well, surprise, surprise, you might have a few problems.
That's what they have here, sadly. So it's just they mark their own homework, basically.
That was a neoliberal response, which England and Australia both adopted wholeheartedly, and I think, you know, in many respects we're paying the price for that now.
Unlike us, Aussies dropped self-regulation and appointed this man, David Chandler, a construction expert with 40 years' experience, to hold developers to account.
Absolute disgrace. They're non-compliant. They've got safety defects from top to bottom, and they're both going to be receiving prohibition orders.
But Chandler's done a lot more than name and shame.
So we now have a system in New South Wales where developers are certified independently, and you have 3, 4, 5-star developers, and people can go onto a register and find the rating of a developer, and if there's no rating, they shouldn't buy. We also have a portal where developers have to register their plans and their amendments to plans in real time as they're constructing their buildings, so people can assess the quality, and the ultimate owners then have a complete record of what has been built so that they can maintain that. We have a bond system so that a developer has to put up 2% of the build price to pay for as a bond to pay for defects, or they can take out a new product which is called decennial, that is 10-year liability insurance. That is possible to do under a leasehold system.
It is.
Hasn't happened. What I think Strata does in terms of defects is it gives owners suffering the defects a platform through which they can take action.
I've got to say how impressed I am that the developer, Third Eye, have stepped up and faced into the defects that needed to be fixed before this building was handed over to consumers. So while there's a bad story at the back of this, I also then want to draw to consumers' attention the really, really good story is that we can now get developers to go back and fix their defects either before buildings are finished or through Project Intervene after they're finished.
The UK now has a vacancy for a building commissioner. This man, Peter Baker, retired just days after the launch of the new post-Grenfell regulatory regime ushered in by the Building Safety Act. Michael Gove, who are you going to call?